What's up, my fellow gamers? Salty Thursday starts now with the 39th episode of the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. Tonight is a very special night. Today marks my 1-year anniversary of me starting my YouTube. I'm very happy about that, and I'd like to thank everybody that's ever gone to my YouTube page or hit me up on Twitter. I do appreciate every like, every comment. I'm glad to have met each and every one of you guys. I'm very happy with the community that we have. I was talking to you guys pregame in the chat room. You guys are all awesome. And in addition to that, we have a very special guest tonight, the one, the only, the Crap Gamer. What is up, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm happy to be here, fill in for Noob Noogum, but I can also pretend to be Noob, like boom, boom, kaboom, it's me, Noob's in the room. And whenever you need something, I can say something about vagina or something. It'll all be good. You won't have to tell the difference. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me on the show, man. Always happy to rock out.
Yep. Shout out to Noof, man. He's having some medical issues. So our thoughts are with you, buddy. Hope you get better.
Well soon, man. Get well soon.
So tradition here on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast is kind of get a brief gaming overview, your history. So let the people know your gaming history and where you started and to where you are now.
Oh man, that's taking it way back, man. The NES was my first console back in the day, and and then I was a Genesis kind of person, and I into the Dreamcast, and then Xbox came along, and that was it, man. I got a taste of Xbox Live, and have been kind of a fan ever since, and been rocking Xbox. Although I have everything, I just pretty much I like sports, racing, whatever. Now I'm really into like the shooters and things like that. So. If it's gaming, I like it, man. Pretty much, there's very little that I don't like.
Okay. So how long have you been in the YouTube scene and the gaming community and all that?
I've been doing I would say serious YouTube, I'd say since probably like 2014. So about that. Before then, I had a gaming clan, and just because I was a little bit older, I was always able to get pretty much the games that I wanted. And people, we had like 100 people in the clan. They'd be like, "Hey, Crap, can you review your game and let us know what you think?" So I was just doing reviews, and they were going up on the site, our gaming site, and also YouTube. And it was just kind of like this lame little thing that I was doing, like crappy reviews, where the games aren't always crappy, but the reviews usually are, So then it was just like something stupid. Then the E3 or the Xbox One reveal came out, and man, I saw Killer Instinct and Dead Rising 3 and Rise and Titanfall, and I was like, man, I want to get me an Xbox One. So I did a video. Hey, I'm getting an Xbox One. I can only afford one, so I'm getting an Xbox One at launch over the PS4. Whew! You would have thought that, man, I had said something. People were like, drink bleach, do this, do that. Like 500 dislikes. It was crazy. And Next Gen 720 saw this. And he goes, "Hey man, I'm starting this podcast. You want to join it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was BGST, and it was really lame at first because the way we did it was before we didn't know anything about Google Hangouts, so it was just him going live or whatever, and then us kind of chiming in through Skype, and you couldn't like see us or anything. You just hear our voices through Skype, and then it kind of progressed from there. But and then so about probably 3.5 years more seriously on YouTube, but. I was doing videos and stuff like that since I think 2012, 2011, something like that, doing just reviews.
Nice. It's good to hear that history, because I came in later in the game. So it's nice to hear people that were here before and, the history of YouTube. It has definitely gotten easier to do these podcasts, with Google Hangouts and stuff. I've seen what people did in the beginning. It was kind of a struggle. So, shout out to Google and YouTube for instituting those changes so we can, bring these podcasts to you guys because it is fun. It's good to interact with the community. Thank you again for being here. We're going to have a great time. We're close to E3. We're literally days away. We got some great topics tonight. We're going to get into it. It's going to, sometimes it'll be salty, sometimes it won't. It's going to be a fun podcast. All right, let's introduce the panel. You guys know them as the Saltiest Gaming Podcast Crew. Let's start off with Punk Kiddish Gaming. How are you doing? And what's new, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Just happy to be here. It's Thursday. We wait for this all week. We got E3 around the bend. The only thing I'm salty about, and you guys know, is I gotta leave for the weekend and go do a family reunion. So I'm probably gonna be like the worst relative there. And it's like, hey, Punk, what's up? Or we can go. I'll put it out there. My name's Trey. Fuck it, we'll just go with it. I'm like, hey, Trey, what's up? And be like, get the fuck away from me. I gotta watch. No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, I feel you,
that's how I'm gonna feel. But again, probably gonna be the worst guest ever because I'm probably gonna be on my phone constantly looking at updates or whatever is live at the time. So it's definitely gonna be interesting, man. But besides that, you know me, on my Destiny grind, love it or hate it, I don't care. That's where I've been. That's where I'll be. And that's about it, man. But happy to be here. Let's roll.
Hey, Destiny, speaking of which, I got roped back in like a crackhead that relapsed. So I bought the screenshot. I bought the DLC and I'm playing that again. So we'll see where that goes. You know, I don't think we're going to get into the Destiny talk tonight, but, you know, they had a trailer come out of their expansion. And if you guys didn't know, you have to purchase the DLCs that came out. There's 2 of them. And if you don't purchase those, you can't play the other stuff, which is kind of interesting. You know, you could talk about it if you want, if it's pro-consumer or not, which it's not. But I decided to, you know, check the store. It was 50% off. I snagged it. Feels good to be back in Destiny, but that's about it. Next up, Bloody Knuckles, thanks for being here, man. I know you're going to be going to E3. Is this your first trip over there, and how excited are you?
Yes, it actually will be my first E3 since I didn't go last year, as well as it's going to be probably one of my first trips actually outside of Texas and the first time seeing Cali. So I can't wait to be over there in LA. But I've already signed up for so many of the events that I'm going to be doing, have all my stuff, have everything packed up so I can leave out early in the morning. But I can't wait to see everything live. And I told you I'm going to be sending a bunch of stuff over this way. I'm going to have a lot of stuff to talk about myself. So it's a good time. I'm pumped. I'm ready for it. Saturday needs to get here.
Yeah, we talked about it before. Hopefully you can get us that inside juicy scoop. If you see anybody there, holler, take some pictures, and we'll post them up, hopefully. That's exciting. I was going to go this year, but it didn't work out, so I'll probably make it next year. Next up, we have Dark Bottomist, a.k.a. Dark Goldblum, a.k.a.
Dark Bottomist.
He has different names depending on what's going on.
I gave him Goldblum, by the way.
Oh, really? And what's the history behind that? Because I was confused.
Because when he talks, like when I first started hearing him talk, right? Yeah. He would talk a lot, like, you know how Jeff Goldblum's always doing like these ad libs and kind of just telling these stories, right? And his inflection. Yep. Well, the way that he would talk was a lot like, and there it is, right? He would just like do that kind of stuff, and so he sounded like Jeff Goldblum. So we started calling him Dark Goldblum, and it just kind of stuck. And it was just really funny. So yeah, I take credit for that. I was 100% the one that gave him that nickname, and that's why. Because if you ever listen to him, he does kind of sound like Jeff Goldblum when he's like talking and explaining things. So it's funny. Yeah,
hey,
funny as hell.
Jeff Goldblum is an awesome actor.
He is, man.
He's awesome. Yeah. So, Jeff Goldblum, I mean, Dark, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Glad to have Crap on here. You know, he told the little story of how Dark Goldblum became from an infant to a man. Finds a way, yeah. Totally, man.
To a man, he says.
But yeah, man, I'm happy to be here tonight. You know, this panel is always great and ready to get into these topics, man.
Awesome. I loved your acting in the new Thor movie. It was
man. It's just Jeff Goldblum.
It literally is,
yeah. He didn't have to do anything, right?
He didn't. Like it's kind of like Will Smith. Right? Will Smith is just Will Smith in most things.
True.
And Jeff Goldblum is just Jeff Goldblum. Like when I watched that horrible Independence Day 2 movie, he's just Jeff Goldblum, and he's not even the original character. He's just Jeff Goldblum. So I was just like, man, that's really funny. It's sort of like Christopher Walken too. Christopher Walken's always just Christopher Walken. So
you know, he should break the fourth wall with him when he's in character. You know?
I love it when he's on Saturday Night Live because he's reading the thing. He's reading the cue cards right there, like for the first time ever. You know, and you could just tell, and that's what makes it hilarious. So yeah, definitely love that stuff.
It's awesome. Well, Jeff, if you ever hear this podcast, which you won't, you're a good actor. All right. So last but not least, Irrelevant Native, what is up? brother.
What up, everybody? Thank you for everybody showing up early in that chat. We appreciate the hell out of you. Crap Gamer, it's a pleasure to finally be able to speak to you. And yeah, man, I'm just excited for the topics tonight, dude. We got a lot on our plate with all these different things coming out left and right, man. I'm excited. I keep I'm bugging Rihanna, my wife. I keep sending her, oh my God, this just got leaked. She's like, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's pretty neat though, man. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So let's get into this. Let's get into
Awesome. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the first topic of the night. Red Dead 2. You guys all know it's coming out in a couple of months. We're all excited for it. Apparently, it's getting a collector's edition with no game. So what's up with this trend? State of Decay 2 did it. Had a similar edition minus the game. Do you think this is a trend going forward with games? Like, what's going on with this crap?
You know what? Here's the thing. I think it makes sense in somewhat way for third-party multi-platform games to do this. And the reason being, and I kind of explained this yesterday, was from what I understand, if they have specific ones for PlayStation and Xbox, like collector's editions, and let's say they're all sold out of Xbox ones and they only have PlayStation ones at GameStop, and you go in there and you want an Xbox one and they don't have one, just a PlayStation, you're leaving with nothing. Now, if it's just a unisex one with no game, you go in there, you can buy it, and you leave with that, right? And it's $100, so it's cheaper than what I thought. Usually those things run about $150. So they're basically saying, get the game and then get this for the same price, right? So I get it. I think it's stupid, kind of.
Yeah.
But I do understand it. I just think that it's confusing, and I especially thought it was confusing with State of Decay 2. I'll never understand that. It's in this exclusive, and they're like, here's this collector's edition, and some people could really have been confused and ordered that thing, and they're getting the game. And then they're not getting the game. So I don't.
Who's going to fall for that trap is parents.
Yeah.
I think parents will go online. They don't know what the hell is going on. They're like, oh, this, this
I want to buy my kid this M-rated zombie game or this M-rated Western game, and where there's people and damn it, the game's not included. What
little Jimmy wants to play this game where he's chopping zombies' heads off. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Dark, what do you think, man? This is a trend going forward. Is it something you like? Don't like? What's up? Good talk.
All right. All right.
He's probably bodying right now. We'll move on to Bloody. What do you think, man?
I think we're starting to see a little bit more just because of the fact that we're starting to see the transition into a more consistent digital aspect. Like, I've started buying more digital games just because of the fact that I want to start going digital and a lot of things like that. But for me, especially me personally as a consumer, I love physical collector's editions. I will spend $200 if I can get a badass looking statue and a bunch of little cool shit, because I put that stuff all over. I have so many statues. It's not even funny. But sometimes I don't want to go out and I use the disc for a little while, and then I game share with my roommate. And sometimes, like, it's a multiplayer game like Gears of War 4, we end up buying it digitally anyway, and I just go and trade the disc in. I think this is a good way to kind of get people who only want that physical collector's aspect to be able to get that without having to buy a physical disc with it and then go again later if they want to go digital, like some people are starting to see. Now, I do understand the confusion on it, because like the first time around that we saw with State of Decay 2, they said Ultimate Collector's Edition. They didn't state that at first that it didn't have the game. When when Rockstar and Take-Two made the announcement for this, they did state that it's not going to include the game, and they've put everywhere on any place you can pre-order does not include game at all. So they're making it known that it doesn't include the game. So I think they should still have a physical collector's edition and then one with the game for people who still want to go physical. But I think that them actually doing a separate edition that's just all the collector's aspects is actually a pretty cool thing for those who like to go digital without having to double dip in the game.
Okay. Yeah, man, I see where you're coming from, but I think I see the business side of things, and they're kind of sneaky about stuff. It's like when you remember when you used to buy ice cream and it used to be like a gallon, and now they make it smaller and it's the same price, or like chips, they'll like start putting less in there and they'll kind of change the bag and then they'll charge the same price, or even they might up the price, or any kind of food item, right? They just kind of make it smaller and charge the same price. I think this is kind of what they're doing with the collector's edition. Or they're like, well, if we take the game out and then we kind of keep the price maybe a little bit lower, then the consumers accept it, and then hey, then we raise the price, or the price gets to the point where it's about the same, what it was with the game. I don't know. It's kind of a slippery slope there. Punk, what do you think?
Well, the confusion is, I mean, since the beginning of time, or once they started making collector's editions, like how long have we been buying a collector's edition? And we're automatically assuming now that we're getting that game, whether it be a code or a physical disc. And I think, if this is going to be the new trend and they start doing that, that's just something that we're going to have to get used to, because we're not used to that. So like you said, if someone's parents go out and buy one, and then they're pissed off and they get the game. Like, I did collect edition. Yeah, mom, I got the effing game in it. The hell, You just sound like an idiot. I mean, and it's going to happen, and probably more than we would like to think it is. But like I said, we're just used to that old school way, and then until that becomes the norm, we'll just have to see how it goes.
It's true. Dark, you still botting? Or are you there, buddy?
Am I botting? Was I botting
before? No, I hit you. I was like, hey, Dark, and it was like,
Oh, that's because somebody came into my room.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't get him out.
So, you heard the topic, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, man?
Yeah, did Red Dead? I mean, this whole collector's edition thing. I mean, it doesn't bother me because I'm gonna buy the game digital. And I think it's a good thing for a lot of people who are buying it digital, because then now they can get the stuff that they really kind of want to collect for, instead of because I mean the game is there, and a lot of times a lot of people, when they get the collector's edition, they tend to like sell the game anyways. They either sell it later on or right away if they don't like the game, but they keep all the collector's stuff. So it's like, if you're gonna buy the game digital now that a lot of games are going digital, it's kind of like, it kind of makes sense for them to kind of take out the game and make it just a collector's edition type of thing without the game. But I mean, the pricing for it is a little steep. I think they should bring down the price of that. I don't think it should be $100. I think it should be less than that. Just simply for the fact that you have to buy the game as well, like either digital or physical. And I know right now GameStop is having if you want to get the game with it, it's like $200, but you can actually get the collector's edition and buy the game for cheaper. So I don't know why, anybody would ever do that. But of course, there are people out there that will do that. I don't know, man. It could. I see the potentials of it being good, but I also see the other aspect of like, this is going, more and more. We're seeing this, and then all of a sudden, what if we start getting exclusive games that are doing this too? Or what if we get consoles that don't come with a controller, or something like that? I mean, that'll probably never happen, but I mean, anything's possible nowadays.
Yeah, you never know. Native, what do you think, man?
Honestly, dude, I don't have a problem with this. Only because I remember about a year ago, I was one of the people that was complaining, damn it, I can't stand the fact that I have to, if I want to buy this game digitally, I have to rebuy the game with the collector's edition in order to get the physical stuff. So I was one of those people that was, asking for, hey, would you guys either consider swapping, the game if I wanted a digital code with my collector's edition? Can you put that instead of the physical disc? Like, that could be something done at the store or on pre-order. But I guess they decided to go this route where you have the option to buy the physical stuff. And I mean, the extra codes and everything like that for the collector's edition content, just the codes that they put in for horse armor or whatever the hell it is. I mean,
horse armor
stuff. Yeah, the horse armor. Come on,
come on, horse armor.
No, but yeah, no. I mean, all these, everything is code anyway. When you look at the, the different maps, all the inside stuff. So, I honestly don't have a problem with it at all, because, like I said, I was one of those people. Now, I would rather they go that route where they just decide to swap it there at the store. I can walk in to a GameStop or Best Buy and say, hey, I want to buy that collector's edition. By the way, I want a physical copy, or I want a digital code, and they would give it to you there at the register. I think that would have been a smarter way, because either way, you're going to pay that $60 price point after you buy the collector's edition with this route. whether it be digital or physical. And somebody in the chat had said, I believe that digital store prices should be cheaper than brick and mortar, but sad to say, that's just not going to happen, my friend. Not anytime soon, anyway. Not until, brick and mortar stores decide, hey, you know what? They have the option to sell it cheaper, but they'll pull their product. They will stop selling Xbox games if Xbox comes out and say, you know what, we're going to offer our games $30 cheaper because it's our store and we can do that.
Yep.
That just won't happen that way.
Let's pay the bills and then we'll move on to the next topic, which is actually Red Dead. We'll continue that. Justin Maroney, thank you, man. Happy 1-year anniversary, Saltiest Gaming. Please stay salty, my friend. Yes, sir. I always do. Thanks for that. And I forgot to talk about this before. Drake in the Gray, I don't think he's here. He hit up the PayPal with a $15 PayPal, and he just said, just sending, if I can talk right, use some support from Drake in the Gray. Keep it up, and you're doing great. So shout out to him. Thank you for that. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Let's get 70 likes. We're almost there. Almost 100 people watching. Thank you. All right, so let's move on to the next topic, shall we? So basically, Red Dead Redemption 2, as we know, is going to be probably the game of the year. It's going to be the most popular game in a while, but come to find out, Red Dead Redemption 2 is getting timed exclusive content on the PS4. So why doesn't Xbox do the same? I was talking about this on Xbox Nation. You guys can watch that every Wednesday on Crap's channel. It's 5 p.m. my time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Yep. So we talked about this, and there's some mixed messages going on at Xbox. So Phil Spencer is this kumbaya. We've heard it, right? He says he doesn't want to lock gamers out of content. He doesn't believe in this timed exclusivity stuff because it's anti-gamer, blah blah blah, right? We've heard it all. But then we come to this PS4 situation, and then they're putting out they're getting timed exclusive content from Destiny, and now we're going to see it for Red Dead Redemption, right? And it's interesting to think because it's a mixed message, right? Because obviously, if you want to do what's best for your business, you would do the timed exclusive content because that it's shown to help your company and your gaming company, right? It moves systems and moves consoles and stuff. So it's like, are we trying to do the best possible business decisions? Or are we making decisions based off of our personal feelings and we're trying to be friends with everybody? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's a confusing situation there because it's like, are you trying to do what's best for the Xbox brand, or are you doing this kumbaya shit, right? Crap, what do you think, man? So,
well, you know what? I think that honestly, I think Microsoft is just saying a lot of things because they're just getting spanked this generation. So honestly, I think that has a lot to do with they're trying to kind of play the good guy a little bit too much, to the point of ad nauseum at sometimes, and they're still confusing to this day. I don't understand it. If you go back and I was talking about this yesterday too, if you go back to their DRM plans and the used game stuff, people thought that you'd had no way to play used games. They thought that you constantly had to be connected to the internet. And then you had one person from Microsoft saying, well, it was every 48 hours. One was like every 24 hours. One was like once a week. And so they had no kind of continuity. And so if they don't know what's going on, how are we going to know what's going on, right? And so you have these weird little situations where these people will give interviews and they're so lawyered up in their own heads that they don't know what they're saying. So like when you have this interview with Matt Booty and he's talking and I'm reading it, and I'm like, okay, this sounds pretty good. And I do a video on it. Everybody else seemed to read it differently than me, where it's like, we're not getting single player games. That's it. There's no single player games. They're done. Right. And I'm like reading this totally differently. Right. So again, the fact that it's open to interpretation that much between people shows that they still haven't learned how to correctly PR for themselves. And that's a problem. And, hopefully and I've heard different things that they're in it to win it. And gearing up, and I know that people hate to say this, but for next generation to kind of get that jump on Sony, right? And I think that's what they're kind of aiming for. And I think when you say next generation, people act like it's like 5 years away. It's like a year and a half away, 2 years away. So, I don't think it's really going to be that long.
That's true.
And I think we're going to have stuff in the meantime too. So,
Yeah, I have the same feeling. You know, they're going to do stuff to, you know, hold the tide and hold us over. Kind of like the PUBG situation. They snagged that up. It was a good game to have last year. You know, Cuphead was a good game. Some things like that. I think we'll see stuff like that. It's not going to be huge AAA games. I don't think that we, you know, aren't expecting or coming out of the blue. But we've heard some crazy things, you know, with these rumors. So you never know. Phil Spencer might be, you know, blowing smoke up our asses and you know, saying one thing and doing another. We'll see. Native, what do you think, man? Like, do they need to get more aggressive, right? They need to see. The thing is like when I think of business, I think of cutthroats. I think of, you know, like doing whatever it takes to be the best, not like let's go get a coffee and I don't know, play patty cake afterwards, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's true. They do need to become a little bit more aggressive. I've been saying this from the beginning that I started here on TSP. Marketing. They need to work on their marketing. If they need more aggressive marketing, then so be it. But they need to do something to turn this tide around. I've said it repeatedly on this podcast and multiple different chats. I can recall so many different PlayStation commercials, but when it comes to Xbox, I can't think of one. That's an issue for me. That's an issue for a lot of people, especially when it comes down when you look at the casuals and things. People have no idea what Microsoft is coming out with. I had a guy at work that said he's been an Xbox One owner for the past, you know, since it came out. And I go, oh, did you grab State of Decay 2? And he's like, no, what's that? I was like, holy shit, dude, you have an Xbox. You don't know what State of Decay is? Come on, dude. And it's just the marketing was bad. So the game is great, by the way. I love it. But yeah, they do need to become more aggressive in their style of picking up games, whether it's, you know, with their recent acquisition of Playground Games, which still needs to be confirmed from my understanding. But things like of that nature. Go for it.
It's all but confirmed, but go ahead. We'll talk about it.
No, definitely. But just things like that. They need to start taking steps to become more aggressive. And if that means they need to shut off their Twitter or deactivate their Twitter accounts just to stop playing nice, then so be it. You got to do what's good for your brand, man. And right now, the Kumbaya stuff, I think that was coined by you, Crap, right? You were Mooch.
Well, it was like me and Mooch. It was like, and you know what's funny is like me and Mooch have this kind of interesting sort of dynamic where we spectate a lot more on Twitter than we participate nowadays. And when you see the Kumbaya stuff, boom, I'll get a DM from him or he'll get one from me where it's like a candle gif, right? Like there they are, like that damn candle again, you know? Like I hate it, right? And the reason why is because I have all the consoles. It's all good. I mean, I'll play them all. But for me, it pisses me off because it would be like my favorite football team, which is the Ravens, like going out there and patting the Steelers when they score a touchdown. Good job, man. Great play right there. Like, screw that, man. No. Yeah. You guys are out there trying to hurt each other, man. You're out there trying to, you know, go out there and show some damn gumption. You know, that's what I want to see. Not this, you know, there's 2 billion gamers in the world. Let's try to reach them. You know, like, who cares? Like, those people that aren't gaming, they probably aren't gaming for a reason, and they aren't going to spend the kind of money that we're going to spend. You know, I got almost 700 games on my Xbox One X, spent something like $1,600 on 3 Xbox One consoles this generation. It's crazy. There's a ton of people like me. Focus on that. Stop trying to focus on this like fandom, the people that play the phone games and stuff, because look how fast Pokemon Go went, that Mario Run. This stuff comes in, you know what I mean? Like the core stuff the core stuff is stuff that they should be focused on, not this other stuff, you know, like for me personally, like focus on what got you guys to the dance with the 360. You got the jump on Sony, you brought out killer exclusives, and you got marketing deals where people would play Xbox versions of Call of Duty because you got maps a month early. And I don't care what anybody says. I was at stores when people actually were buying that and saying that's the reason why they got the 360 version. So
I remember. That's why I picked up Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. I picked up those games for that reason.
Exactly.
And I was going to say, I wanted to throw this out. I'm curious to see if PlayStation, because PlayStation has been shown to not be afraid to kick somebody when they're down. I mean, their fans certainly are not afraid to kick somebody when they're down.
Well, do you think it's coincidence that they announced a Days Gone release date today after the Crackdown 3 announcement? Like, I don't think that. I think they probably were going to really announce that at E3. And then they jumped the gun to announce it today to salt in the wound, man.
It's exactly. like that spread of Days Gone when State of Decay was coming out, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, that's what Sony does. They'll announce numbers at certain points. They'll announce this or that. It's, you know, that's what they do, man. It's just,
and then that's all I was saying was what I was getting to was at E3. I want to see if PlayStation will throw some jabs because they're going. If I'm correct, if I recall correctly, they're going on before Microsoft. I think a day before, right? They're Saturday.
No, they're after.
Yeah,
oh, they're
Monday.
Oh, shit.
They're Monday.
They have more ammo because We'll see, man. Either way, I'm curious to see what Sony's gonna end up throwing out. I'm sure they're gonna throw out some stuff.
They usually like to go after Microsoft. You guys remember the launch in 2013? They're like, oh, their price is $500. We'll go $400. You know, so they like to go after Microsoft. So, Punk, what do you think, man?
Exclusive content, man. Sony has been doing this for how many years? Remember the E3 a couple years ago? Like they didn't really show any games. Like everything they showed though was they just freaking dished out the money for exclusive content. Like the whole time, like I'm like, did you guys even show any games? It was just like, and now we got Call of Duty, and now we got this. It was insane. That's all I remember from that E3. And if we talk about the advertising that for Microsoft, and that's not going to go anywhere. Unfortunately, they're just going to ride it out. Everyone's talking about Phil waiting for the next generation, but PS4, they got their foot on the gas. They're not letting up. They're going to put the money. They clearly have the money, and they're not afraid to put it out there, man. And it's simple as that. That's what Sony does. And again, what do they say? At least another good 2 or 3 years out of the PS4. They're not letting up at all.
No.
It's true. So, Bloody, what do you think, man?
I'm kind of in the opposite. Like I understand that like everyone has an issue with the kumbaya aspect. However, we've kind of seen the bad side of it. It's worked in Sony's favor. There's no denying that. They can be as ruthless and cutthroat, but they have plenty of people who are willing to back them, especially from a lot of Japanese companies because they're a Japanese company. However, we've seen and Don Matrick and even in some of the early days of Peter Moore as head of Xbox that the cutthroat aspect has burned a lot of bridges for Microsoft with developers and others who are willing to work with them. It's because of the fact that they've taken the opposite time to kind of rebuild those bridges that they're starting to get a lot of the support that they are. Now, I do agree that they shouldn't hold back on getting certain timed exclusive content and things like that, because we see that every game, even games that they get the marketing rights for, that Sony's still getting the exclusive content. They really still do sometimes, and it's sucks. But the issue is that if they're gonna do these deals, they need to do them a lot better than what sometimes Sony's doing, because Sony keeps using these vague aspects to keep the interest only in Sony side, and we saw it heavily with Destiny and a few other games. But if they're gonna do something different, they need to do it better than what they were doing, because look at how the Destiny community, especially with some of the content from like the original Destiny 1, got severely upset because of the fact that the content was held back for a year, and then later for 2 years, and then later was released after it became irrelevant when they released the next game. Even Sony fans were kind of pissed off because it affected them as well. There's a way to do content exclusive to keep your fans invested, to bring new people around, as well as not to completely alienate the communities that you're building to kind of push them away and say, oh, well, that's bullshit. They're doing something that's anti-consumer.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to look at it on the other side of the coin. I try to do that when I, look at debating things, because there's always another story, right? So Absolutely. That is the other side, So Dark, what do you think, man?
This is kind of interesting because, Microsoft, they always play that kumbaya, it seems like, especially this generation. Like last generation, not so much, because they were winning and they were, people were definitely, buying their consoles. But this year, this generation definitely been, very like, oh, hey, yeah, guys, we don't want to not give you guys content, but we don't want to alienate everybody else. But it's like, if your competition is doing it, then you should probably be doing it too. just so then it can, so then we have some sort of something to look forward to when we buy our games on Xbox. Like, I mean, yeah, I always look forward to everything that comes out, either way. But I mean, if we got something exclusive that was like, something for Red Dead, or even something that's like exclusive to like the game that just came out, Vampire or whatever. Like if we got that, like if we got some exclusive content for that game, I mean, of course, more people would have probably bought it for Xbox. I mean, I don't know the sales of it yet because I mean it's early on in the game's life span. But it's just it would be nice to see something like this, happen for Xbox as well, because it is kind of a damper when we hear people saying, oh well, Xbox has nothing, Xbox has no games, Xbox, it's like, dude, they have games, they just don't have the exclusives. Yes, granted, they do not have the exclusives that are really selling the console. I mean, for us as hardcore fans, of course we're going to buy the console, because guess what, they have the games that we want to play, which is like Rise of Rome, Sunset Overdrive, things like that. But there's a lot of people out there that don't like those kind of games. They're not like us, where we play pretty much everything. And it's just like, man, I wish Microsoft would do something, man. Just give us something, for and I think E3 is really where they're gonna have to really show that.
Yeah. And I want to kind of piggyback off what Dark said, because he did make a good point, is that that there are certain things that they do need to push for, because it does definitely turn the tide. Because look at, if they had the full exclusive content, full marketing exclusives for like FIFA, big soccer game, that pulls a lot more of the European crowd, because that's what pushes them right now to Sony, because they have that aspect. Look at if they got the marketing rights back for something like Call of Duty, that brings in a lot of the casuals that specifically play Call of Duty. That's why Sony's selling so well, is that they have those marketing rights for Call of Duty. That's their biggest thing, because a lot of those casuals don't care about any of the console exclusive or anything. They want those big casual based games, and sports games and Call of Duty are the biggest sellers. Those are the ones that really push a console. We saw that last generation.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think that pretty much, everybody can focus on the fact that it does help your brand when you have these exclusive rights. If you talk to analysts in the industry, they'll tell you the same thing. So we'll see if Microsoft changes their stance anytime soon. I doubt it, but we'll see. So let's go on to the next topic. Rumor has it that Gears is going to be getting a battle royale, maybe an XCOM style game, and then there's also rumored that they're going to announce Gears 5 and maybe show a teaser. Does this guy give you guys a chub, or how do you guys feel about this?
Zero chubs.
Honestly,
Zero chubs.
I'm a half chub right now, just because the idea of a Gears battle royale game hurts my brain. It hurts my brain, and it hurts the head in my pants, because I don't know how they're going to implement that, dude. I don't know how you're going to take that gameplay style of the over-the-shoulder, third-person cover shooter with the shaky camera when you sprint, the way that the weapons, how the animations work. I don't see that being a battle royale game. If anything, I see it as an RTS. That would be neat, an RTS Gears. But you don't really see a lot of the vehicles in Gears of War. I mean, you see a couple, but not enough. Not at the level of Halo, where they're able to do that. Sure, they can make it up as they go, but from what they have right now, I think the best route for them to go would be an XCOM style game. But God, don't give me a battle royale Gears. I love Gears of War 4. That is my franchise, dude. But don't give me a battle royale. And don't give me Batista. Give me Batista in Gears of War 4. Do that, but don't give me a battle royale, dude.
And I was the one who thought you were going to get freaking hard on over that, too.
No, everybody. I must have got...
That's coming from a guy that plays PUBG all the time. And
Gears. I'm jumping back from Gears of War into PUBG back to back to back. And I got so many DMs when this rumor went out saying, "Oh, you're pretty excited right now, huh?" Or, "Oh, what do you think? What do you think?" And it's like, no, I'm not excited. I'm really bummed out if this happens, because I don't see how they can implement it. I don't want them to go first person because you're completely changing everything. When I want evolution in video games, I'm not saying change the whole game completely. I mean, granted, Capcom got away with it and did really well with Resident Evil, but I just don't see that happening with Gears. Gears is just a phenomenal game as it stands. The mechanics are brilliant, but to go and see it go to first person bugs me, dude. It bothers me.
Yeah. I feel you, man. Crap, what do you think?
You know what? I think that any Gears is good. You guys are talking to a guy that has a big Crimson Omen tattooed on my arm. So I like Gears. I think I would prefer, actually, if they've got Gears 5, push out Gears 5. If they got some kind of spinoff, I'm not really sure. XCOM, I'm not really sure. I don't think they're going to do Battle Royale. I don't think that makes sense because Battle Royale is really Twitch shooter. And just the cover-based style that Gears is, like, I don't see how they can do that, right? Like, everything's like, everything in Gears is you're hiding behind cover shooting at people, not like how a Battle Royale kind of looks to me. So I don't think that's going to work. So I do think that they're going to have some Gears announcements, but who the hell knows what it is? But I'm excited to see what it is. I'm hoping that it's something good. Hoping.
Definitely. Right there with you, man. Right there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been quoted, some of the higher up guys, at saying that they want to take more risk with their established franchises. And I'm all for that. You know, Microsoft typically doesn't take risks, and you need to branch out. You know, you need to use what you got. And I think a lot of these established franchises, especially Halo, I was talking with a friend, the fact that Steven Spielberg wants to do stuff with it, and all these movie guys, the established core for Halo, like in, you know, the science fiction realm, is just huge. It's massive, right? If you get the right people in the right places with that game, the lore is there, and you could branch off. You just need to do it right. And then the same with Gears. Gears has this established base. It's $1 billion franchise. You just need to get the right people in place with your studios. You need to have a lot of first party studios, which they're trying to address, because we heard about them opening up one in California. They need to do more of that. They need to have first party just banging these games out, you know, and taking risks, because that's what they need, you know. So we'll see if it works. I think the XCOM works better for Gears. Just the way that game mechanic works, I think it would work for Gears, you know. So when it comes to Battle Royale, it doesn't work for Gears. Definitely don't see that, you know.
No.
Can you really see this giant hulking beast of a man, just like, you know, 100 of them on a screen running towards a circle?
Yeah, like,
some of them on a small motorcycle, you know, driving towards the circle.
Native, you know how much you run in these games, right? In these Battle Royale games, you're constantly walking or running places, and it's the majority of what you do. Can you imagine that camera, like the way you move in Gears, like doing that for like minutes and minutes and minutes, dude? No, it doesn't work.
It would make Sea of Thieves motion sickness shit completely irrelevant. I mean, that's what everybody be focused on. I played Gears Battle Royale and I threw up all over my couch. And you hear that every fucking 5 minutes on Twitter.
It's true. Anybody else have anything to say before we move on?
I do. That
okay. Hit it up.
A Battle Royale? No. That's a trend that does not need to keep going. We keep seeing everything. They don't need to take a franchise yes, they need to take risks with certain aspects, but a Battle Royale for Gears, just no. I agree with everyone. It wouldn't work. Nothing. Even if they were to change the mechanics, it wouldn't feel right. Like XCOM is easier to translate because it does keep already the base cover mechanics. You can already have the different types of weapons that do different things, like in XCOM. And it uses the small squads. That could work. An RTS, like you said, could work. Something like a Battle Royale, even if it's like a fast pace on a small map similar to Fortnite, it wouldn't work at all.
It'd have to be like 10 people on the map.
I mean, if they're going to do that, then they might as well just bring the free-for-all mode that was back in Gears 2, Gears 3?
Yep.
They just should do that instead of doing a Battle Royale, because that's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. It's just these E3 leaks. They're juicy. I love talking about them. It's cool to, you know, contemplate what's going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Speculation is what these things are all about, man. That's why I always get annoyed when people are like, "Oh, you're just talking about E3 speculation again." It's like that's what it's all about, man. If you can't
Not like
fun,
You have to speculate. You don't have any substantial anything. So
everything's speculation until like even this buyout of Playground Games, right? Like I sit there, I would bet this is 100% as to 100% that you can get, right?
Yeah.
But until Microsoft comes out and says, "Hey, yeah, we did this," it's still speculation.
Yep.
Let's piggyback off of that real quick. This speculation shit, it's not new. It's not just to gaming. People are interested in speculation.
Yeah.
Speculation on movies, what's happening in Star Wars, like what's going to happen in episode 9.
Mooch always says it. We're talk show. It's talk shows. You gotta, that's what you do. You talk, you know.
You gotta talk about shit. So if you don't like it, get the fuck out of here. That's what they say. Right?
Get the fuck in.
So it's just like sports, man. Like they have whole shows on the NFL Combine, you know, speculation. Where's this guy going? Where's this guy? So anyway, let's talk about Playground Games. Microsoft finally snatching up up and coming studios, finally making the moves, because we've seen in the past that they took their time and they dabbled, and these studios just get big and big and then they leave. You know, Bungie left. There's some people out there that said no matter what Microsoft did, they'd leave anyway, but I kind of call bullshit on that. Mooch touched upon the subject. Money talks, and you know, if you give enough money to people, they'll pretty much do whatever, you know. So if they wanted to keep Bungie, they could have, but they didn't, you know. And Bungie wanted to make Destiny. Like you can see Destiny. What Halo was that like Destiny poster in? They put it in one of their Halo games.
Halo ODST.
Yeah, so they put that there. They had the concept, and I'm sure they were talking to Microsoft, and they weren't for that. They were just like, "Hey, we got Halo." It's kind of that risk.
So
thing,
similar
right?
to Halo to begin with. I mean, just
yeah.
the look at everything. So I mean, I can understand.
They left, but you know they're snatching up Playground Games, and if you guys don't know, they do the Forza Horizon series, which. Just to let you know, I do not like racing games. The only game that I really like that's a racing game is Mario Kart, and that's just, you know, it is what it is. It's Mario Kart. But to show you how talented this developer is, they got someone like myself that doesn't like racing games, that won't spend money on them. And I bought not just the game, I bought the DLC because the Hot Wheels DLC was something that I could not pass up. It's something that I've never seen in a video game, and it was awesome. The way the game looks, the way the game plays, it's open worlds. It's amazing. It's the best out there. It's one of the only games, if the only game, that is at a 90+ on Metacritic.
Yeah, they're their only 90 Metacritic game this year.
That speaks volumes, right? This developer knows what it's doing. They're rumored to be working on this new Fable game, so I think it's just amazing news. I think it's just another sign that Microsoft is moving in the right direction. You know, what do you guys think?
Anybody?
Well, honestly, I think it's Microsoft doubling down on what they said. You know, they're serious about their games. They're gonna take it seriously. You know, Phil Spencer had said it, and this is just the fruit of that. You know what I mean? They're picking up a brand new studio, not a brand new studio, but and I've heard the argument that it's not doing anything because they were already making Xbox games with Forza, but I think Rand and Jez, they had their podcast earlier, and they hit the nail on the head for me, and it resonated with me so much in that they basically said, you know what, these are guys who make a racing game, and a lot of people think, you know, racing games are easy to develop because what do? You make a car and you make it go. You turn left and right, and that's about it. You have some mechanics where they hit walls, et cetera, but it's not that much. Well, if they come out and do something with Fable, and they make that game phenomenal, then a big notch in their belt. So it's just that's all I see it as, is them doubling down on their words that they're going to take the first-party exclusive issue seriously. They're taking it seriously, and they're making the moves that they need to move. They need to make. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, and Crap, what do you think, man?
You know what? I think that I was super excited about this, right? Because here's my thinking. If Microsoft owned Insomniac, would Sunset 2 even be a question right now? It's the fact that they don't own them is the problem. So here's my thought. If you don't have Playground locked up, which, by the way, they had a 4-game deal for the Horizon series. That's the scuttlebutt. And that would have meant this was the last one. Anybody could have dangled some money in front of them. Like EA could have tried to bought them up to do, some of their racing games, because Lord knows their racing games just suck. Yeah. So, and then let's say they come out with Fable, and it's a huge smash hit and great and does well. There's no guarantee that they'd come back for the sequel. Long term, this is probably cheaper for them, Microsoft, to do. And this is a studio with 2 different teams, 2 full teams, 400 people.
Yep.
Right. They can crank out 2 different games at the same time. That's incredibly rare. That's incredibly awesome. And it's going to be cheaper for Microsoft in the long run to have them under the Microsoft umbrella, doing that. You don't have to worry if their game is going to be exclusive or if it's going to go somewhere else. It's like,
worry about those devs being poached either.
Like exactly. So this is huge for Microsoft, the longevity of what they're trying to do. I like it. I think that it's something that is long overdue. There's rumors that it's not the last one. There's other ones out there as well. There's a lot of people that kind of want to look into. If you look at what happened, right? Microsoft, when Killer Instinct came out, that was a really fun game, and those original developers got bought by Amazon, right? Like that can happen. Microsoft lost out on BioWare back in the day.
Yep.
You can't let these talented. They're arguably Playground has been Microsoft's best developers and developed their best games this gen. Forza Horizon 2 and 3, right? That Forza Horizon 3, that's one of the only times Microsoft's ever announced sales numbers for a game, right? The only time.
You're hurting me, crap. You're hurting me right now.
They did, though.
Can you imagine the PR nightmare if you remember like a couple months ago when we were hearing this rumor that Playground was making this open world game? A lot of people were like, oh, this is going to be, multi-plat. It's not going to be exclusive to Microsoft. Can you imagine the PR nightmare if they left and made an exclusive game for Sony or something like that? It would have been just catastrophic. So I'm just happy that they're locked up in the long term. It's just it's really good going forward.
Remember when they announced they were going to do an open world game RPG, right? The Sony fans went nuts. We can't wait to play it on PS4. Yeah, right. That's what they all said. We can't wait to play it on PS4. And then now they're all like, oh well, I thought Microsoft already owned them. Right, like they all try to play it cool. Like, give me a break. Like that's like that Final Fantasy stuff too, right? Like everybody thought that
Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, everybody thought that was exclusive, and now that it's leaked out that it's not, people are like, "Well, I didn't think that anyway." Of course you did. Come on.
It's a short memory effect. Right? People will have that.
It's a selective memory. That's what it is. I'm choosing not to remember that. Yeah.
So who else has some thoughts before we move on?
I'll take it next. And this is my thoughts on it, is that the fact that they're buying them now is a good sign. And as everyone's put it, it shows that they're doubling down. But I've stated multiple times in the past that while Microsoft hasn't been buying studios lately, it's because of the fact that they're wanting to invest in studios that want to stay. They're building up the talent. Playground has had massive amounts of talent. People who talk bad about what Horizon has done, they don't understand how detailed those worlds are and what those artists have done. If they were to do a full open world adventure game, especially for something like Fable, they can outdo anything right now because of what they've done with those. You have to think about the size of those areas, the details of the maps, and everything that was in Forza Horizon 2 and Forza Horizon 3 especially. The fact is right now they waited so long is because they had the deal, as Crap mentioned. However, they were also cultivating the talent with that studio, helping to build them, helping to invest in and help them grow before they took them on first person. We've seen that with what they've done in the past few years since the end of the 360. What did they do with the Gears series after Epic wanted to be done with it? They purchased the series. They took a lot of the team from Epic that wanted to stay on that franchise. They pulled Black Tusk, who was working on something different. They canceled that and blended them together with that team from Epic and helped them form the coalition and build up. While 4 did have its issues for some people, I still enjoyed it. And you can see where they were trying to do something different and new. And you're seeing that old talent and new talent, and they're trying to build that up. That's what Microsoft is doing right now. We saw them invest in Studio MDHR. We know Studio MDHR is doing another project, and it's going to be going with Microsoft through their ID at Xbox. after they let them do a little bit more, I wouldn't be surprised if they picked them up for a small studio, just like they're doing with Undead. A lot of these second party studios that Microsoft is working with, we're seeing them gonna put the money and invest in those series and those companies, and then later bring them under that umbrella. That's what they're doing, is they're taking the time to cultivate that talent and help them build. If they're not going to do anything with what the investment that they're putting in, why do they need to put an investment into making them a first party studio if they're not going to take? That's what we're seeing here. And Playground was probably the first smartest choice for them as a studio to take under that, because we've seen what they've done. As I said, they're the only studio that's put out a 90+ game. And that's a great thing. Now let them experiment with doing the second studio, like they were saying, and do something else besides while they're working on Forza Horizon 4. After that's out, who knows what they'll do next? Maybe they'll do 2 new separate projects, or maybe they'll continue with the Horizon series and keep doing another project with the other studio, you know? And then they can swap out people between the studios and let them use everything that they're gaining from each project and bring that over. It helps. That's what people don't understand about this aspect.
Hey, Crap, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know much about the development cycle or anything like that, or how a company decides, okay, this is a developing company that I want to pick up, you know, i.e. Microsoft and Playground Games. So would it be, what is the way that it goes is Microsoft looks at Playground, says, hey, I know you guys are doing Forza and you guys are doing great. Show us something with Fable. They go.
I can actually. Well, the way I understand what happened with that was Playground Games, who they've only done racing games. They made this second studio and they started developing a pitch for an open world RPG, right? And they brought it to Microsoft, and this is rumor, by the way. And Phil Spencer was like, no, right? They tried to pitch this game to other people, and other people said no. And the reason why is because while they're a good developer, they've not done anything but racing games. So trying to pitch an open world RPG, that's a tough sell. Okay. So then when Horizon Zero Dawn took off and did really well, Phil Spencer kind of was like, huh, you know, and then went, you know, if you guys can turn what you guys built into Fable, you know, we can do something. And so that's how sort of this whole Fable thing got started. And then you would think that once Phil got promoted to corporate vice president, that his idea was to lock down, and he said, you know, we worked on the back end of Xbox Live, we worked on the hardware, now we're going to work on the first party stuff, and that's what they're doing. So that's exactly what it's all about to me. They had no money. Like, people, I've gone over this a million times. Yeah, it doesn't take a genius to look that they had zero. They were probably super close to not even being part of Microsoft anymore, right? Like I probably by a thread. Yep. Right? Like, they had no money. If you look at the games that they have out, it's hard to tell. Like, probably a year or more, they'd stop developing everything. Just look at the crap we were getting. Voodoo Vince remastered. They canceled. $5 million was too much. For $5 million was all they wanted for that Phantom Dust remake, and they said it was too expensive. Right? That should tell you how dire straits they were. And you think, well, that's Microsoft. They're like this almost $1 trillion company. That's not Xbox, though. You know, if the CEO doesn't believe in gaming, then you don't have much of a budget. And Terry Myerson was also one of those people that was a real issue. So
yeah, definitely. Here's where my thinking comes from. So Playground goes to Microsoft, says, hey, look, this is what we come up with. You know, here's either a trailer or just some kind of pitch for Fable. They say they like it, they pick them up. And we see that Fable trailer, that pitch that they showed Microsoft over at E3. That's what I'm thinking, man. I'm hoping that's what it is, just because I'm excited for Fable. I would love a brand new Fable. That was one of the original Xbox games that really, really sunk its claws into me and you know, just made me a bona fide Xbox gamer. That's the one that was like, this is it for me.
Me too. I'm a huge Fable 2 is still one of my favorite games and maybe my favorite RPG.
Yeah, it's sitting in my downloads right now.
Yeah, and it's always funny when you hear people go, "Oh, well, I really, you know, I don't really love, or I never played it, or I don't." Well, go play it. I mean, it's in the vault. They're backwards compatible. Those games are, even though free, even though 3 was rushed and wasn't as good, it still was good. I love that whole aspect of getting enough gold to do whatever. Like,
it's just the world they built, man.
Yeah,
it's that world.
The choices that you give, you know, you can have your kids taken away from you. You can, I turned the orphanage into a whorehouse to make money. It was like, you know, all this stuff.
That's totally fine, man.
Yeah.
There's even a side mission in 2 that most people didn't get, is that if you sleep around with too many whores, that when you get if you sleep around with too many whores while you're married, you'll actually have someone send you a letter, and they'll meet you under the bridge, and they'll blackmail you that if you don't pay up, they'll tell you.
Damn, Bloody's been doing that secret shit on Fable, dude.
Man, damn.
Hey, look,
I love that. I thought it was awesome. It was it was that the humor and stuff, and that was just phenomenal. Like that British humor. That's why.
Look, I'll even admit, and anyone can hate on me, I enjoyed Fable: The Journey, the Connect game.
I did too.
Yeah,
I sat there for a whole day playing that because the story was so good, and you had a pet horse.
Yeah, exactly. While the mechanics were bad, it was fun to actually be able to like feel like you're throwing the magic as well as mixing it. But the story was interesting because I liked Gabriel and I loved his connection with Teresa by the end of it, because it set so much great precedent for what would come after that, because it was after Fable 3.
Yeah,
like the lore for that universe is phenomenal. That's what their studios do great, is that they're great at world building.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be able to see that with Playground Games, and I'm hoping that they hit the nail on the head. You know what I mean? I really hope that they do. So
I think they will, man.
Great stuff.
Shout out to Z Black Rider. He's a sponsor of the channel. He's in chat. Thank you for being a sponsor. We appreciate you. So does anybody else have anything to say about this topic before we move on? Dark, I don't know if you said much, did you?
No, man. I mean, everybody has, good points. I just, I was like, well, I really can't really bring much to the table because, I agree with all of those. So,
okay, so let's talk about the Crackdown 3 official announcement that it's going to be delayed. I've done 2 videos on this. I kind of try to keep it light-hearted. The first one was kind of a rant because I didn't get sleep the night previous, and I woke up. All these people are bitching on social media. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna make this salty ass video. It's short, So I made it, and that was more of like just salty, and it was quick. And then the next video I made, it had kind of a video in the beginning. You guys check that out. It's just kind of, I was talking about how it's, in my opinion, it's a good thing. And this was before Microsoft came out with the announcement that they're going to be come out with the game in February of 2019. I was saying in the video that it'd be perfect around March, because as we know, the back half of this year is loaded with these multi-plats, right? Like you list them off: Battlefield 5, COD, Red Dead Redemption. It just keeps going on. So
hey, Salty, you want to know what all those multi-plats have in common?
What's up?
They're all gonna look better on the X.
It's true. It's true, man. So let's talk about the fact that Crackdown 3 coming out in February 2019. If you look at it, it's only a month away from 2018, right? So in essence, they moved it a couple months out of the year. It's not a big deal. And it's actually good timing for the game to sell well. If it looks good, which I think it will look better since they spent more time and more money. Let's talk about this, guys. What are your thoughts, and why are people obsessed with the negativity when it comes to Crackdown? So when this announcement came out, they're just like, cancel Crackdown. It's delayed again. Cancel it. That's all I saw, right?
For games that get so much hate. I mean, it's kind of crazy how much people talk about it.
If it was called The Last Guardian or Dreams, which by the way has been in over a 5-year development cycle, and they had to take it back to ground zero twice.
Don't do it, crap.
Yeah, or Neo, which was like a 10-year game.
Don't do it, crap.
Where's Deep Down? Come on, it happens, right? Like this stuff happens. It's not a big deal. Whatever it takes to get the game to be right. I think that's the most important thing. And people just, they flip out. They look for anything negative about Xbox. Look, like I said, I've been doing this since, realistically since like 2014. And we were the only ones who were realistically pro Xbox at that time, right? Like at that time, it was all about the games and stuff, and everybody wanted to talk about resolution. You know, this faux concern with Xbox, it's annoying, it's unneeded. We see right through it. You know, somebody comes at you with they should cancel Crackdown, and they've got a wall full of PlayStation stuff on their feed. You know what's up. You know, like, damn, I like the Crackdown series. Let's wait and see what they do with it, because this is basically the rock and a hard place that they're in. Same thing with Xbox fans, right? Look, if Microsoft releases it and it's the 4 to 6 hour campaign and one multiplayer mode, that game's scoring badly. People are going to mock it and make fun of it. Ha ha. You know, if they delay it, people are going to bitch about the delay. So let's wait and see what happens when it comes out in February. I said that I wasn't sure if they would show it off at E3. So it looks like they did say they're going to show it off at E3. We'll get a reintroduction of it, probably get some kind of multiplayer beta. They're going to lock down the date. That's what they needed to do. And, you know, people are still not going to believe into it. So the game's going to have to really wow people, I think, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, people need to relax. It's because it's Xbox, right? Like, there's also rumor that Death Stranding's delayed till 2020.
Oh, get them.
I mean, where's anybody talking about that? You know, like Days Gone itself was delayed. Every single PlayStation game, for the most part, exclusive, has had some kind of delay. The Drive Club, The Order,
but we won't hear about those delays.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
We're not supposed to talk about that crap.
Yeah,
we're not supposed to talk about
Oh,
that.
I mean, yeah, they don't like it when you talk about it, but hey, you know, it kind of is what it is, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree.
You have to shit on Xbox.
So, Dark, what do you think? Are you a fan of Crackdown, or what's your thoughts, man?
I've never been really a huge fan of Crackdown. I know that's probably blasphemy, but
Get them off.
I think I think, you know, this is a perfect month for this game to come out. February, you know, it's not right after the holidays. It's a month right after the holidays. You know, everybody has their time to play their games. Especially, you know, if you get a single player game, you're probably going to be jonesing for something else come February anyways. Simply for the fact that once you play a lot of those, you know, AAAs like Red Dead Redemption 2 and all those, you're going to be jonesing for something else in February. So, I mean, this is a perfect time for them to come out with this game. You know, and a lot of people were saying, oh, you know, it sucks that I can't believe they're delaying it again. And this sucks, you know. And it's like, guys, you got to remember that there's so many multiplats that are coming out in the later half of this year, you know, like it's like it's going to be bombarded with games. You know, you're not even going to probably be even thinking about Crackdown 3. As soon as February hits, you're going to be thinking about Crackdown 3 because you're jonesing for something new, you know. So I mean, you know, time will tell to see how this game does. I think, you know, it's definitely an exclusive that's going to push the Xbox One and the Xbox One X. So I think, you know, it's definitely something that's going to be a good thing for Microsoft and Xbox.
Yeah, you mentioned that you're not a big fan of Crackdown, nor am I. I've talked about it, but the fact that it's in Game Pass is a perfect opportunity for me to try it out. See, I never would have paid for this game full price, but since it's in Game Pass, I'll play it, you know? So that's a lot of other people will be in that boat. I hope at this E3, you know, with this extra time, extra money, we get surprised in a good way with Crackdown, and that is a possibility. I'm not damage controlling. You might think so, but anyway, Punk, what do you think, man? I know you're a fan of the Crackdown series, right?
I am, man. I'm kind of with Crap, man. I played the first two. I enjoyed them. Obviously, the first one was the better one. Dude, but Crackdown, again, quoting Crap, man, like, it's in a lose situation. What are they going to do? Bring it out early, it sucks. Comes out later, it sucks. It sucks. And it's just the point, dude. Like, if you're like me, even when they announced it, if you were a fan of it, you already had your mindset if you were going to buy it or not. And I feel like a very high percentage of people, even now, even with the delay, they're if they were going to buy it, you know, when it was announced, they're probably going to buy it now. If they were going to buy it a year ago, they're going to buy it when it gets delayed. I mean, the mindset's already set. If you like it, you like it. That's just what it comes down to. And then, what was I going to say? Shit, lost my train of thought. Damn it. Well, I just came back to me, but it is what it is, man. Like I said, you're going to buy it. It'll be good. I enjoy it. You already know. I talked about collecting my orbs. if that's all I got to do to make my car bigger, better, run faster, that's what the excitement game is. And then also for open world games, I can honestly say I stick to playing Crackdown. I never finished Shadow of Mordor or what was the second one? Shadow of
War.
Yeah, Shadow of War. Thank you. I didn't finish Assassin's Creed Origins. They're fun games, but they just don't keep me going. And Crackdown, just collecting that stuff to get bigger and better. There's something about it that's very fun.
Little balls.
Yeah, I love collecting balls.
It's all about the balls, right?
It's all about the balls. Glowing fucking green balls.
Yeah, you should see a doctor, dude.
I'm already seeing too. Don't jump.
The entire game to Punk is just jumping around for balls. That's what he loves to do. Is jump for balls.
Yeah, he likes.
It's the difference, man. You check the other open world games. He got tired of them. They didn't have the balls.
They didn't have
the balls to keep me going. You know.
Oh.
So Bloody, what do you think about this delay, man?
I'm not sweating it. Like I said before in the past, Crackdown is something that's been difficult because of the fact that each game so far has been made by a different studio. I enjoyed the first one. It was something that was just over the top that I enjoyed. I got all the achievements way back then. I played the second one. I thought it was cool. I love when they added the multiplayer aspect of it. And, a lot of people thought the zombie infection thing was stupid, but I found it fun just because of the fact that having a harpoon gun and just getting a bunch of people to just see how many you can stick to a car and drive around with that was just stupid and fun. What they're doing with this one, they're just trying to do more, and I'm completely all right with them taking the time to delay it. Not every game that delayed ends up being good, but sometimes it has worked out. Like I said before, look at Final Fantasy 15. That was originally Final Fantasy versus 13, and that was in development for over 10 years. Right shortly after they launched Final Fantasy 13, way back in the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, before they did all those trilogy of games and all its sequels, and that they had to switch directors and start over twice. But look at how the game came out. It wasn't overly amazing, but it was still really good. And they continued
that back, Bloody.
No, I love 15, dude. That
I still need to play it.
It made me cry. I won't deny that. I like that one better than a lot of the other ones in the past. But that one, it did show issues where it did have some pacing issues. There were some small writing issues, but I mean that just came to be expected. But they fixed that over time. They took the time with that game, and it paid off. What Microsoft's doing with Crackdown, it's 5 years been maybe or so delayed, maybe 4, because they announced it back in 2013, and it was
2014.
2014, and it was supposed to come out originally 2016, so that was 3 years, maybe 4 years in development, to another 2. I mean, that's still about the average.
It only had one release date, honestly, which was in November of 2017, and then they said it'll come out spring this year. So you could say technically 2 delays, but I mean. We were supposed to get a beta 2 years ago too. So
I'll say yes on, but still, you made a solid point. It had one solid release date, which was last year in November. But even still, that's about 4 years, almost 5 years in development, which is still the average development time for a lot of big games from a lot of big studios.
And it really it basically also reaffirms Phil Spencer when he says he doesn't want to show games too early, right? Because look what happens. If that game should have probably been announced last year.
Yeah, even if they announced it in 2016, that still would have been a lot better of a time than what they did all the way back then, because that's definitely showing why they need to stop putting out things 3, 4, 5 years out in advance, because you see things like this. Because look at how many times Sony has done it, and people forget about those games for 2, 3 years until they showed it. It's like, hey guys, it's still coming, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, totally do that. No, you didn't. You didn't care. Shut the hell up.
Anyway, anybody else have anything to say before we move on?
It's dead. Okay. It's dead.
All right. So let's talk about some interesting. I know it's a topic that you guys have all been waiting for. Okay. Super Smash Brothers. We're talking about a Nintendo topic. They've had some. The reason why I want to talk about this is because Nintendo and Xbox have this relationship, right? They put Minecraft over on the Switch, And we're hearing more and more stuff coming out that there's going to be, cross play on Fortnite, maybe, this game Paladins is going to be hitting the Switch. He's going to have cross play with Xbox and Nintendo. So they have that good relationship. So there's a rumor out there, a leak for the Nintendo Switch saying that, Metal Gear Solid Snake might make a comeback in Super Smash Brothers. That'd be cool, right? And also there's rumors that we're going to be seeing Minecraft characters potentially in the game in Super Smash Brothers. So that's, things that are owned by Xbox potentially. Plus we had some quotes out there for, what was it, Crash Band? What? No, it was God, I can't think of it. It was Xbox property, right? What's the game? I can't think of it.
Lucky?
Not Super Lucky. Yeah, well, Super Lucky's Tale might go on the Switch or whatever. But they're going back and forth, and they have this good relationship. What do you guys think of this quote unquote leak? What do you think if we see potential Xbox quote unquote characters or properties show up on Super Smash Brothers? Do you think it's a good partnership between the two companies? Do you think we'll see more of this going forward?
Just to preface this real quick, can we please start calling the Nintendo Switch the X-Boy?
The X-Boy. Yeah, right.
Go for it, guys. Have at it.
See, that's the thing. I have to kind of disagree with all of this because I just don't. I mean, honestly, these games, these characters going to Super Smash Bros. Is just helping out, Nintendo. I don't really seeing this at all helping out, Microsoft or Xbox or anything. It's just, it's okay. I mean, that the Minecraft is fine because Minecraft is a multi-plat, but if we start seeing some other characters from Microsoft's exclusive, lineup, why are you trying to
Kumbaya,
I mean, yeah, it's all kumbaya, man, and it's come on, guys, stop doing this, man. Stop burying yourselves, man. I'm a huge fan of Xbox. I've been with Xbox since the beginning, since day one, and it's just I want to see them succeed and I want to see them keep going and keep growing, but when things like this happen, it's it kind of makes me feel man, I don't know, man. It kind of irks me a little bit, it's why?
The character that I had a brain fart on was Banjo. Okay, so
Banjo.
Well, Banjo was
was
Nintendo
Rare.
at one point.
Yeah, it's rare, but Microsoft owns Rare now, so
right.
That was the rumor, right? So you're on the other side of the coin, right? You're done with the kumbaya shit, right?
Yep, I'm done with the kumbaya shit, man.
Okay, who else has some thoughts here? I think it's a good thing, man.
All I read into this is, and not to say obviously because Nintendo's doing very well, but I just see two losing companies teaming up. That's the only vision I see, for this generation. That's how I see it, dude. And again, I said, Nintendo's not necessarily losing because that Switch is the hotness, and it's doing its thing. But that's all I read. It's the backstory, it's the hidden agenda within the topic that no one's looking at.
Damn.
That's just my feelings, man.
That's funny, man. I never for 1 second thought from that perspective where it's the two little guys just teaming up on the big guy. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and again, I'm just talking about this generation. That's all.
Yeah. No,
I own both consoles, so it's kind of so I don't just own the Xbox anymore, guys.
Salty fancy.
Yeah, I can't wait for Fortnite to go on the Switch, man. That's my jam. Anybody else have any thoughts? If you don't, it's cool. I understand. It's Nintendo. Okay, go forward.
I'm perfectly fine with Nintendo. I love Nintendo, and I think we're them doing the partnership that they have, that they've kind of been growing together is a good thing, because one, it's helping them. Nintendo has a lot of things, right? But there's certain things that they don't, and I talked about this on G4G Live yesterday, and what this helps to kind of bridge that gap that we've been seeing with everyone hates the kumbaya shit. That's just a lot of general people sentiment. However, the good thing about this is that with the relationship that we've seen, especially from Microsoft and Nintendo, is it kind of helps them to do one, because one, Microsoft could definitely help Nintendo get their services and online kind of built, because while Nintendo has games and their own, you know, diversity, they don't have that aspect, whereas Microsoft has that aspect as well as diversity. They just don't have games, you know. It helps them to kind of grow.
Microsoft.
But well, because of the fact that they can see what they're doing, they have diversity in their lineup. They just don't have the games out. They need to see what is working, what's not. And when you look at someone like Nintendo, who can have a game on every genre of the damn spectrum and do it right, they know what they're doing. They know their audience. They know what sells. They know how to position.
Say, we'll trade you our service, our online infrastructure for
they're assisting with helping them set up their own, but they're helping them build it. They're helping them. They're helping each other. And the thing about this is that Smash Brothers has been a big thing for Nintendo, and a lot of classic rare characters were part of Nintendo back in the day. If Microsoft is willing to extend that hand and say, yeah, you want some of those characters to come back and make an appearance, absolutely, let's do it. Who knows what in turn we can see come over from them. You know, especially if Rare does another big game, we can probably, and they do like a Rare style racing game with their characters, we might see some of the Nintendo characters come over. It's a back and forth. You got to think about other things that aren't necessarily what's right now. You can think of the possibilities in the future. So with this being done, is it helps to show, hey, they're willing to give that good gesture and say, hey, some of these characters, yeah, definitely come back. We want to keep working with y'all and build stuff. That's what a lot of people aren't focusing on.
It's true. I've looked at that aspect
now.
In building that bridge, I think is
we want it now. We don't want to wait 5 years. Fuck it.
Shit. So anyway, it's a rumor. You know, it is what it is. We'll see if it actually happens. Let's move on to the last topic of the night, and then we'll get out of here. I promise, Crap, we would keep it at an hour and a half because he's got to go to bed.
Because I work early.
Yeah, he works early. So we'll get on this. We'll keep it brief, and we'll go do our outros, and we'll get out of here. We almost have 130 people watching. Let's get 100 likes. So final topic of the night. We have a rumor out there by Brad Sams. He says that Halo Infinity will be announced at E3. What will it be? Let's just talk about it real quick, and then we'll do our outros, and we'll get out of here. Halo Infinity, what do you guys think it's going to be?
Multiplayer, possibly Battle Royale.
Ooh, okay.
I think, well, Xbot, like you guys know him, he is all about Halo. He knew right away that the Infinity was some ship or something, and it would be like multiplayer only. So they had talked about spinoffs. I had talked about it earlier this year that I had heard that there would be a multiplayer only Halo. So it's probably just like an add-on or something for Halo 5 or something, maybe a standalone Battle Royale thing. I think that would work really well since Warzone is already 20 versus 20, you know, with the rec packs and stuff like that. I could definitely see something like that happen. So, you know, I think that it's going to be fun. You know, I think that it'll be something that we'll probably get this year at any rate, you know. So we could get like this. I could see us getting, you know, Forza Horizon 4, this Halo Infinity, and whatever the Gears game is, right? That's not a bad way to end the year, in my opinion, you know?
No, yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah, when Xbot was talking about that, the way he explained it, it made perfect sense to me. You know, the way he was talking about the multiplayer aspects and the Infinity and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
I've heard things behind the scenes about the multiplayer only situation going on. It just makes perfect sense, honestly, just to hold people over, to tide them over until Halo, you know, the next actual Halo game comes out. So who else has some comments on this?
I think it's a series of games. I don't think it's just one specific type of game. I think it's like Halo universe kind of thing where they like, you know, they're saying Halo Infinity is basically all the games that were going to be coming out for however long, you know, as long as we can keep making them and keep making money off of them. So, I mean, I think it'll be maybe a series of stuff, or, you know, it could be that Battle Royale, but I hope it's not Battle Royale, damn it, because I don't like Battle Royale. I don't want it.
Microsoft wants to get in on that, man.
No, because Phil stated that he wouldn't do a Battle Royale game unless it actually fits something that they're doing. He said he's not just going to make one to make one.
I think Dark just needs to stop being such a chode and just get into Battle Royale.
Call a chode and forever.
Just call me a chode, dude.
Yeah, he's a chode.
Freaking
wow. Brought to you in part by Native.
fraudulent Native.
You only get that here on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast.
Yeah.
The Fraudulent Gaming Podcast.
That was a quick bang, bang, bang. Talk about Halo Infinity. We're
Hang on,
out
I got to talk. I want to say
Okay,
something
go
about
ahead.
it. What I was
Keep it
thinking
like
that
at 1 minute.
Yeah, what I honestly think it is did anyone remember Spartan Ops from Halo 4, the like episodic stuff that they were doing? I think Infinity Wars or Halo Infinity is going to be that. It's going to be like an episodic thing. They tell decent long stories, have it still a single player aspect, continue the multiplayer that we've seen from 5, but it helps them to kind of fill in the gaps for right now until they make Halo 6. That's what I think it's going to be.
Okay. And then Native, you thought it was going to be like an updated
Master Chief Collection, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, we'll see.
I'm thinking either that or it could be like a revamped waypoint system where they're
Native,
just going
that's
to combine the online services across all Halo games and
that could be
do
interesting.
something with that.
Okay,
that's interesting.
We shall see. I don't know. We're out of time. Let's get to the outros. Our special guest, the one and only the Crap Gamer. Thanks for being here, man. We had a blast, dude.
Hey,
this
yeah,
flew by.
it was a good time, man. I always have a good time doing these. Surprisingly, I don't get asked on a lot of them. I don't know why. Like, it's weird, but yeah, I like doing these. It's a lot of fun, especially around E3 time, man. It's like Christmas. I get amped up, man. I'm ready to go, man. I want to talk the games. I want to see the announcements.
Yep.
Mostly I just want to see what I'm going to be playing this year. You know, like that's the most important part.
Yes, sir.
At the end of the day, whether it be multiplayer, exclusive on one, I have all the systems. So like when people are like, "Whoa, look at that! Eat that, Microsoft bastard!" and I'm like, I can play that too. So you know what I mean. So it's like that's the way I look at it. I had a good time with you guys. Got to podcast with some of you guys for the first time, and that's always nice to meet some of you. I recognize some of you from like the chats and stuff, so it's always good. And you do a good job, Salty, man. That's why I have you on Xbox Nation Wednesdays, and I appreciate the invite here, bro. And I look forward to doing it again, man.
Exactly. Thank you, man. This guy knows his stuff. Go check his channel out if you haven't. You probably already have because you know he does good work. So I appreciate it again. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I can't shout you all out, but we're almost at 100 likes. Let's get that 100 likes. You know, the nerds at E3, they'll celebrate all in unison if we get those 100 likes. Anyway, Punkish Gaming, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter at Punkish Gaming and anything else Punkish, man. Like I said, I want to shout out Crap too, man. He's actually one of the first YouTubers that I ran into when I got into this community and started watching his stuff, and then that's when I found Colt and everything. So if I didn't stumble across his page, I probably wouldn't even be where I'm at right now and on this panel with you guys. So we say, no, awesome to meet you, Crap, man. I appreciate it.
Man, it's all good, man. It's awesome, dude. Like to be able to get like I said, there was a couple of guys that liked Xbox years ago, you know. Now there's a lot more. So that's always good, man. Because you'll be surprised at how many messages I'll get from people like, dude, everybody just hates on Xbox all the time. It's good to see somebody that doesn't, you know. But doesn't mean you can't be critical of something. But it just means overall, I'm not going to hate on every damn thing and be like Xbox done. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's just you know, I can't stand that shit. So it is good to actually podcast with you guys and do this, man. Good stuff.
And I appreciate you being on, and it's awesome that you came on with Salty. So
no problem, man.
We all together, obviously, good shit.
Irrelevant Native, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter in the most irrelevant corner at Irrelevant Native. The 8 is in there somewhere, so just look it up, all right? But no, man, it was a great show, dude. It was a great show. I had a hell of a lot of fun. These guys are some of the best, dude. I mean, that's you're no exception, Crap. You're definitely not an exception. I've been seeing you everywhere. You're probably, I think Mooch was actually one of the first people that I had noticed because of his little avatar thing, and then you two were always together, and so I recognized, like, okay, those two guys run together, and
it's the Italian thing, man.
Like, yes, man. It's awesome stuff, dude, and I appreciate you coming on to the show tonight and just, you know, having a good time with us, dude. So
no problem, man. Absolutely.
Good shit, dude. Good shit.
Awesome. Dark Optimus, Bottomus, Dark Goldblum. Where can people find you?
There it is.
Well, you know, first off, it's always a fun time with Crap Gamer on podcasting. So, you know, thanks for coming out. Crap, it was
no problem, man.
always fun, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. I've done a few with you now, man.
Yeah, dude, I know.
Yeah, I remember, dude. I did the next podcast with him where I just busted in, and then
Yeah, he did.
I didn't let him get a
"God
word
damn
in
it."
the rest of the whole show. Like he didn't get any words in. Every time he tried to talk, I was just like busted over top of him because I was being an asshole just to be funny. But yeah, man, it's always
He's
good.
just busting my balls.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live, the same name. You can also check me out every Saturday on the next podcast at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And you guys can always check me out here at T.S.G.P. being a fraud. And I'm out, people.
Aren't we all?
We all like Xbox. I mean, come on. It comes with the territory, guys.
So last but not least, we have Bloody Knuckles on his way to E3 tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by. Originally, you weren't going to come. You said you were going to stay here for 45 minutes. You stayed the whole time. Thank you.
I know. I'm waiting
Welcome to the longest outro of us all. So let's go.
Oh, of course.
Where can people find you, man?
They can find me on Twitter at Bloody Knuckles. The O's are zeros, the E's are threes. And of course, they can find me on my channel, Bloody Knuckles Smash Podcast, every Saturday, your little corner for nerdy news and geeky goodness. And I have to say, crap, it was great to be on the show with you. You and Colt were actually some of the first people I found in the community when I came, started actually seeing videos probably last year around October, and I was in a lot of Xbox Nation. I will talk to you and Mooch, and
Yeah,
I've gotten to know Mooch fairly well, so it's about time that I actually finally got to be on a show with you. So it was great, man.
Awesome, man. Nice to do a podcast with you, bro. Thanks for all the support and stuff, man.
Oh,
Yep,
definitely.
Yeah, make sure you check out Bloody's Smash Podcast every Saturday, and make sure you tune into his channel. I think you're going to upload some videos from E3, right?
Yep, I'm actually going to have live footage from Saturday from the EA Plays event. I'll also be live streaming the Xbox conference because I will be there live, as well as seeing some of the stuff from around. I'll also be going to a Ubisoft event and then everything from the show floor throughout the week. So just be expecting a lot of stuff all around.
Yeah, make sure if you're going to E3, you hit some of these dudes up. All of them like to interact with the community, you know. They're good people, so maybe they'll, hang out with you or something. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
I live 20 minutes away from E3, so
yeah.
I want to do a quick shout out. I don't know if he's watching anymore, but Microsoft was giving away that Black Panther console, right? So one of my followers who was watching this a little bit ago actually won that and just did an unboxing of it. Yeah, like wow, right?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, dude, like holy cow, dude, that thing is insane. Like he just did an unboxing of it, and I was like looking at it. That thing is nice. It's probably gonna be worth something.
That's something that you would literally want to get a pedestal and just put it in there and never use it.
He asked me, he goes, "What would you do with it?" And I said, I would just display it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Put that in a glass box.
Yeah, that's what I thought about doing. Is if I won that or like the gold Xbox that they were giving away on Inside, I was just like, I would just put that on a display somewhere. I was like, it would never be used. It would just sit there, just looking pretty.
Exactly, but that thing looks awesome. So shout out to that guy. I meet some cool people, man, that are fans, and he won, and that's always good to see that true fans win some of this stuff. I know he's a big Xbox.
Definitely, man.
Damn, when's my time to win that?
I know, right? I entered. I wanted to win that.
I'm still waiting to win the competition to get my rent paid for a month.
Ryan Seacrest?
Right?
So anyway, we'll get to my outro and we'll get out of here. Like I said before, this is the 1-year anniversary of my channel. And
congrats, man.
Congratulations, dude.
Truly, it's been a ride. Honestly, I can't tell you guys how fun it's been. It's crazy to talk about how many people you meet around the globe because Xbox is that brand. It's a community. I've met people from Australia. Shout out to Australia, everywhere, man. England, everywhere. We got viewers everywhere. So anyway, this channel is just going to get better in year 2. I promise you that. We're going to do big things. Let's just say that. We're going to continue to improve every time I make a video or every time we do a podcast. We're gonna try to get better every time we do it. Okay, so that's my promise to you guys. Year 2, I'm looking forward to it. You guys are on the channel. Make sure if you're new, you hit that subscribe button, the like button, and the bell icon, because YouTube likes to screw over their content creators. So make sure you hit that bell icon, and hopefully you'll get notified every time we go live. So 39th episode of the Saltiest Gaming Podcast is officially over. And as always, stay salty, my friends.
Peace.